Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Shenanigans. So, you've got the old woman. You've got the nephew, who's surprisingly young. And you've got the fire marshal, who's arriving as well. And we've got all the problems laid out before us, except for Hildegard, who's not here.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, Fire Marshal, greetings. I heard you concluded that the case of arson was insurance fraud.
Yep. Well, definitely insurance fraud. Definitely intentional fire, and...
Well, we have a subject here that might be the cause of the fire. Hilda, who we discovered is also a horrifying murderer, has hated Hildegard for quite some time.
Hilda, who is awake in the cell, but maybe like pretending not to be or something, pipes up and goes, I did not burn that down. That bakery was a fire trap. It was a terrible place, and it probably burned down because her bagels were so dry that they caught fire themselves out of the horror of existing in such a perpetually dry state.
And I just
that is quite a statement to me. Fire Marshal, I have here some of Hilda's muffins. They're actually quite tasty. Here, have one.
He munches on it. Oh, this is good. And moist, too. He narrows his eyes at Hilda in the cell.
There you go.
She shuts up.
See, in any case, the evidence shows that it was arson.
Yes.
And we have a horrible murderer who hates Hildegard.
Didn't you also say you found
beeswax, and we found a honeycomb in her cupboard?
He cracks his knuckles. Well.
Honeycomb.
So what you're telling me is that Hildegard offered to split the money with Hilda if she burned down the bakery.
No, I actually saying that Hilda burned down the bakery and Hildegard had nothing.
I don't know if there's any evidence for that or not, but
Why are you so insistent on punishing Hildegard?
It's just arson is a very rare crime, and when it happens, it's either firefighters who are creating the arson just to put it out, or people who are trying to get insurance money, or people who are trying to cover up crimes. It's really the only times that fires start. It's always nefarious.
This person has a motive. She hates Hildegard.
Enough to burn down her house?
I think so.
Have you heard her speak about
Where were you during the fire? You just said that firefighters sometimes set on fire to put it out.
No.
I guess this one didn't get put out though.
Anyways,
he glares at you with the hatred of 1,000 burning suns.
With the hatred of the firemen. Of 1,000 burning firemen?
No.
Well, this person has a motive, and you should hear them talking about Hildegard. It is not nice.
Yeah, you just heard her, right? Anyway, we think it was her. That's all I can say.
Mm-hmm.
She had the motive and the means.
And the cousin here helped him out, yeah?
Might have.
I mean, we think it's possible, but at the same time, he's very simple. I don't think he knew what was.
I mean, I turn over. I say, did you help her out?
What do you mean? I have not helped anyone commit any crimes. I am a lawful citizen of Berkshire.
Well, a question: did you help feed your own cats?
Of course not. She takes care of the cats and all the cat stuff. I simply help her with her gardening.
Okay.
Interesting. And he kind of leans over to the other two. Well, she has to get that poison from somewhere.
What kind of things do you garden?
She is old and can't dig the furrows for her plants, so I come over and I help shovel out pits for her to plant things in.
Okay,
right.
I see.
Interesting.
He dug the pits, guys.
Of course! She's too old to dig anything. She needs someone like me to help her.
I agree.
Yep.
And the sheriff...
Were you aware that she was growing poisons?
Nonsense!
Poison.
My Auntie Hilda is a wonderful stand-up woman with the best baking in town. Not like that Hildegard wench.
Like,
Okay.
Galfguy looks at the sheriff, who also saw the mounds.
He also saw the pits.
The sheriff comes up to the kid and the guy and says, "Now, did you dig gardens outside for her?" And he nods and says, of course. It's where the plants grow best. I built her planter boxes and dug all the furrows." And he says, "Okay, well, did you dig gardens for her inside?" And he says, "Well, she needs to grow mushrooms too. Yes, every now and then she asks me over, and I'll dig a trench in the basement, and she'll grow her mushrooms there. But you can't use the same soil twice, so I have to keep digging new trenches every time."
Of course.
Like everybody looks awkwardly at each other.
And he's like totally believing this story like through and through. He has no understanding of...
I just kind of say to them, I think he's negligent.
The sheriff nods and lets him out of jail and tells him to go back to work. And he sort of goes, "Well, what about Auntie Hilda? I can't leave her here." And the sheriff says, "We'll take care of her, son. Just go on. We're throwing her a party soon." And he says, "Wonderful! I shall fetch the schnapps. I shall be right back." And heads out.
Oh God, the party will be a hanging.
Yep.
And he's gone, and it's now just you guys and the sheriff and the fire marshal and Hilda, who's in jail, beginning to tear up and looking around when Hildegard comes knocking. "Sheriff, I brought you some muffins!" And then they walk in, and Hilda and Hildegard see each other across the way, and they glare at each other. And Hildegard hands the basket of muffins to the sheriff, and Hilda realizes at this point that she's lost it all. It's not going to work, and she breaks down in tears.
Well, another murderer behind bars. I think we did a good job.
Hold on. We need her to allocute. And we need to know why she murdered these people.
Oh, yeah, that would be actually quite interesting to know.
Really? I mean, go look at the basement. You know she did it.
I mean,
yeah, why? And we need to hear it from her own mouth. It's important.
Okay, why? I go up to her. Why did you do it?
Do what, young lady? Man?
Why did you kill all of those people?
Does this mean you don't want that quilt?
Just confess, and I command.
Well, oh shit! I did it. Yes, I killed them all. They were such sad, lonely people with nowhere left to go and nothing left to do, and well, they were just depressed. And I gave them a hot meal and some tea and ended their pain and suffering for them, and just gave them a happy ending. You know, it was a kindness. It wasn't murder. It was sweet. Compassionate.
I looked at the sheriff and I'm like, well, I think she believes it, at the very least.
Well,
she still murdered them.
I know. I know.
Yes.
Exactly.
Were they sad though?
I think that doesn't really matter.
It's not. I mean, it's not your. You can't make that choice for people, right? That's not.
Well, we did our job. I don't think you will find much reason in her.
Well, the sheriff looks back at his big steak that's growing cold, looks at the woman, looks through the windows at the gallows. I gotta leave this town. There will be there's no trial to be had, but there will be a public hanging the next day.
The party.
In the meantime, there's the issue of your payment, because your payment was going to come from the insurance money for the bakery, and the fire marshal's still insisting that there was some sort of collusion here to get her cash.
Dear fire marshal, why do you think so? It seems pretty clear that it was, in some cases, a hate crime.
I look to Hildegard and I say, did you, was there a collusion here? Was it for the money?
What? No. That bakery was everything I ever wanted.
Also,
it's okay. You can confess, and I wink at her.
No, I didn't do it. I wasn't involved in any way, shape, or form.
Fire marshal. Why would she? To give a bit of logic in here, if she would try to keep the money, why pay us try to pay us with that money to find a conclusion to that arsenal.
Well, you know, old ladies, they can't be. They've got all sorts of ideas, and the sheriff is now looking over at the fire marshal a little suspiciously. And the fire marshal's like, look, I'm in charge. I make the decision. I'm not paying out the insurance money.
I like look at the sheriff.
Wait, don't you have an obligation to pay it out?
Sheriff opens the jail cell and just motions for the fire marshal to walk in. And the fire marshal looks at the 3, 4 of you, 5 of you, and bolts for the door.
All right. I
get a color
attack of opportunity?
Do you color spray him?
Yep.
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah, all right.
The fire marshal bolts. The color spray goes off. You said that quickly enough, so I don't think we have to roll for initiative. Yep. Color spray. All creatures above the level of the spellcaster. What level are you? 2?
2.
All right. He does get a saving throw then, because he's a 3rd level fighter. Ooh, no. He hits the ground like a sack of bricks.
So after this session, the town will need a new fire marshal and a new sheriff again.
Yep. And the sheriff drags the fire marshal into the jail cell and goes, God damn. Murder, arson, a different type of insurance fraud, abuse of the mentally unsound. Is there any other charges that we can levy here?
Well, Hildegard, you can probably go to the mayor of town. And, well, they appoint the fire marshal, right?
Well, I'll do that then. I'll go see Colonel Sanders. And she walks off to go talk to Colonel Sanders, who is the new mayor. Colonel Sanders will, of course, agree with you guys and Hildegard that she is owed the money. And they will go to the fire marshal's place and pull out the wealth from there and give it to her. She will give each of you 100 gold, 10,000 copper, but in gold pieces for convenience sake, for your work, and thanks you. The sheriff begrudgingly shakes all of your hands. Thank you for bringing another murderer to justice.
Well, Sheriff, here's something. Here, get yourself a good hot steak. And, I will pay for it.
Thanks.
You deserve it.
Gotta say, though, it's not about the hotness of the steak. It's about the company in which I eat it, and I gotta get out of here. We're gonna hang her tonight, tomorrow, and then I'm gone. I'm gone.
Well, then let me accompany you, and have a good evening. Okay. Your last dinner in this town.
Well, you guys have dinner. You get paid. We're a little early, so is there any other things that you want to do around town, even though the quest is already solved?
Find a new fire marshal and a new sheriff.
I was going to leave this for next week,
No.
There is a new fire marshal already.
Oh, fire marshal. Yeah, that's...
Yes.
How do we find a new fire marshal?
No, there's already a new fire marshal. It's already been appointed. Colonel Sanders appointed Hildegard as the new fire marshal. She has experience with having her place burned down. She has experience at spotting corruption very easily, and experience at getting people to solve these problems by hiring mercenaries for shenanigans. And she has all the qualifications and a lot of experience.
And she also makes excellent bakery, says Colonel Sanders, while wiping away some crumbs from his mouth.
With fire in general, yeah, like how fire works.
Yeah, great baker too. Yeah, definitely not being bribed. Oh god.
Oh god, they might as well with these. Oh god, with these requirements, they might as well appoint a pyromancer as fire marshal.
Well, that happened like once before already. Actually, I think that was the first fire marshal.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Fire mage.
Yep.
Well, it seems like this has been settled out, and once the well, we will see what the next days bring for a new sheriff.
All right, everyone, please take home 600 experience for today's mission. I don't think you were ever in mortal danger. Actually, if you hadn't poisoned her and had drunk the tea, you would have been poisoned, and I guess you were in mortal danger. Make it 700 experience. Yeah, she would have fed you to her cats.
Which is kind of weird because Terra in all her armor.
The worst part of this all is that no one remembers to go let the cats out of the basement, so they all starve to death down there too. So that's the true horror of today's session. Not Hildegard or Hilda murdering people.
Even better. Someone checks on our house and all the cats are gone. The day after McBoof has left town, all the cats with a tiny bag.
Oh, we did never get to replace the wire marshal though. That's a different role that's never been refulfilled.
The wire marshal will never come back.
Yeah, no more wire marshals. Congratulations! You succeeded on today's quest. This is probably one of my favorite games of 2019. This was great.
It was so funny.
I'm just we only survived the poison by poisoning them first. Can't.
So I hope everyone enjoyed this. If you want more fun stuff in this vein, go watch Arsenic and Old Lace. I think there are a few versions out there. You want the 1944 version? There's a bunch of them, and there's some plays and all of that. You want the 1944 version. It has Cary Grant in it and a whole bunch of other fantastic actors and actresses, and it's lovely. It's perfect.
Yeah. This was just yeah. I mean, since we are basically finishing, I can tell a little story from last week, where we had a role-playing day here in our town, and I was running a game in the Shenanigans setting with pre-made characters, interesting characters that I made, not just box standard ones. And within the first 2 hours, well, the party, their goal was all the characters wanted a certain item that Desmond basically had to make some place in the cellar. And Dizzy just told him to get rid of that. What was it? What was horribly glorious vase that is terribly neon green. Yes, what I did was I asked them to write down some certain words and secretly and just give them to me, and I made the item out of that. And they had to do some to get some ingredients for Desmond because Lizzie's birthday is coming up, and he wants to make her. The wizards at the academy, he asked them to make a beauty potion. and they gave him to make some really vague ingredients. You remember the one with the potion we did? That was my inspiration for that. And within the first 2 hours, the party managed to kill the local priests by accident, run from the guards and escape. No, accident, really accident. What happened was one of the players was playing a kobold and was in the church, and the priest was trying to shoo him out with a broom because kobold. And the kobold then started to threaten him because he was armed and all that, but with the broomstick that he took from the priest. And he asked the priest what the power of faith was, because that was one of the ingredients they had together, the power of faith. And the priest was slowly reaching into his pocket, and the kobold saw that, and he was like, "What are you doing?" The priest, "I will show you the power of faith." Insight versus deception. The priest, the kobold rolled a natural 1. All right, go ahead. The priest is pocket sand into his eyes, and the kobold, while blinded, hits him into the head with a broomstick and kills him because the priest had 2 HP.
Nice.
It was, and they met a fisherman, or a former fisherman, who was just sitting at the docks with 2 peg legs and a hook for a left hand, who lost all in the last month due to a water draw. But he was really somber about it because he lost his wife and all that. Yeah, they had their anniversary, but he's like, well, she was average, so I suppose it was bad that I lost her.
Wow.
It was very Shenanigans, and I'm glad it was. Also, the vase had some interesting magic powers. First one was everybody who saw it immediately had to roll a save versus puking, because it's horribly neon green vase, of course. It was a really fun thing, and I will be using the Shenanigans setting more often for one-shots in that group because it's hilarious and just so much fun. And
well, I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm glad other people are trying to run games or are running games in it. Shenanigans is one of my favorite settings, and one of our longest running campaigns here. Only Dicing with Death is longer.
Yep,
and only by 20 episodes at this point. So Shenanigans is slowly catching up to Dicing with Death, and one day we'll overtake it.
Well, unless Ryan, you too, Ryan, you get a more steady schedule for Dicing with Death with never missing an episode.
Yeah, that'll be hard. That's it, everybody. I hope you had as good of a time as I did. I do want to encourage everybody to go watch Arsenic and Old Lace. It's fantastic. It's hilarious. It is in black and white. Get over it. And we'll see you next Saturday. He says, double checking his schedule. Yes, next Saturday for more Shenanigans. The one of the 2 Saturdays after that, and only one of the 2 Saturdays after that, I will be out of town. But we'll still hit our 3 Shenanigans quota, and we'll see you guys around.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Good night. Good night. Take care.